Today we realize that we live in a world where the world's equilibrium has been upset, and we're really experiencing a global crisis. Could you share with us what are the thoughts and ideas that the Baha'i faith offers in terms of a new order, a new world order, which many of the leaders of thought and politicians are calling for?
Well, if I may begin, because just giving you a little bit of history. When Baha'u'llah arrived in the Holy Land, it was in 1868, and it was during the Ottoman rule. And the teachings of Baha'u'llah were such as to be so different from the general culture of the people. In fact, this even continues till today, because the teachings of Baha'u'llah are so new, so modern in their attitude. For example, Baha'u'llah teaches that religion should not be inherited. Religion is to be investigated. Now, this is, you don't find this type of teaching in other religious systems. Another thing is that religion is truth, and science is truth, and therefore religion and science must agree. So, if religion does not agree with science, is opposed to science, it eventually will end up to become superstition. And if science is left on its own, without the spiritual influence of religion, it will become materialism. So Baha'u'llah teaches that these two should be together. And for example, he taught that there should be equality of rights between men and women. For the people in Iran, where he was born, when he grew up, this was not easily accepted, you see. The same thing is true when wherever he went, and when he was under the Ottoman rule, and it was the same thing. Such teachings were not generally accepted in the part of the world where he lived. He spoke about world peace. It is such a modern idea today. We still have not attained it. But at that time, he spoke that it's wonderful to love one's country, to be proud of one's country, to serve one's country. Of course, this is patriotism. It's excellent. But it's not enough. We should also love the whole world. We should think in terms of loving the population of the planet. There should be no racial prejudice. There should be no religious prejudice. There should not be no class prejudice. Now, these ideas are so modern, and for Baha'u'llah to have taught such things more than 150 years ago, and at a time when Iran and the Middle East and so on, where he lived, these ideas were not considered to be acceptable. This is why you see that the Baha'i faith was persecuted. It was persecuted in Iran, it was persecuted under the Ottoman rule, and so that's why, in fact, here we see Baha'u'llah born in Iran but ending up in the Middle East, because there was a very good prison in Akka, and they wanted to imprison him there to be as far away as possible from his native land. In those days, that's how they thought, you see. The concept of world solidarity. Today, we speak about it, and we consider it to be a natural thing for the world to consider and to even carry out. That's why we have the United Nations, for example. And not only the United Nations, but we have institutions and agencies under the United Nations that are doing so much good work, such as World Health Organization, for example, World Food Organization, the environment. All these things are new concepts that are helpful and, in fact, necessary to be studied and to be properly carried out by the various nations of the world. But from a Baha'i point of view, these things are ABC, because this is exactly what Baha'u'llah wanted from the very beginning. Now, in order to establish this solidarity, which you really think about it, solidarity in itself is not enough, because solidarity implies cooperation and tolerance. Tolerance and collaboration is good, but again, it's not enough, you see. So let us see now how Baha'u'llah looks at this whole problem. Baha'u'llah, in his teachings, points out first that the individual has to be properly guided in his moral and ethical conduct. Now, we can say that, of course, this is acceptable. Everybody accepts this. This is very good. It's the golden rule. The golden rule has been accepted from ancient times, and so Baha'u'llah is just repeating the same idea. However, while what I just said is true, but this is not where Baha'u'llah stops. He says that morality and ethics for the individual, while it is excellent, but it can be eroded. And the thing that erodes it is personal interest.